It's that inner child part of you that's taking control. And that inner part of you is not really convinced and can't see it fully that what this behavior is doing is not helpful for you anymore. And you constantly being available and constantly putting yourself last is actually hurting the relationship. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elicia Goguen if you are new. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe because I post every single week. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Elicia Goguen, so we can chat and you can see what I'm doing every day, as well as my podcast channel, the Globe Secrets Podcast, where I post videos of a longer form content than the ones that are already long enough. So today I'm filming this on Valentine's Day. I don't know when this is going to come up, probably within the next week. So I feel like it's still gonna be very relevant, even if it's not February, but it's February. Now, I've already made a video on how to have a relationship with yourself and date yourself, but I wanted to make a video on how not to lose yourself in a relationship because I know a lot of you guys are in relationships, or you have been in relationships, and when you're wanting to get into a new one, you want to do things differently. Because honestly, I used to be the girl who lost myself in relationships a lot of the time. I would stay up so late when I first started talking to somebody I really liked. When I started dating someone, literally all of my self-care routines went out the window. I always was so freaking tired because I would stay over at a guy's house way too late all the time. I'd be so available. I would be constantly thinking, obsessing, even in a good way, but just all my attention, all my focus, all of my life just surrounded this relationship. And it honestly got to a point where there'd be times when I was in the relationship, let's say hanging out with one of my boyfriends, and I would just not even be in a good mood. I would be moody, I would be irritated. I was getting irritated and I was not feeling good about myself, even my health, or I was just so tired, whatever it was, because I wasn't taking care of myself, because my focus, my whole entire focus, life, attention was so heavily on this relationship. And now I want to say this. It's not a bad thing to be obsessed with someone when you first start talking to them. You want to text them all the time. You want to spend a lot of time with them. You know, you get, like, there's a stage of that, right? And it's not to try and tell yourself that you can't do that and, you know, you should stop yourself from texting a guy that you really like or spending time with him when he wants to invite you over and staying up late and whatever. But it does come to a point where it will deteriorate your relationship and or it won't be sustainable. And when it's not sustainable, what ends up happening is you either lose your health, you fall off your own goals, and you really start living for this relationship and you're losing yourself. Or you show up in the relationship not your fullest amazing self because you're tired, you're depleted, you're not taking care of yourself, or, you know, maybe you're getting a little irritated and you're picking fights and you're all of these things, and it actually doesn't even have to do with that person. It has to do with the fact that you're not showing up for yourself properly in your own life. Let's first talk about why you do this in the first place, why you lose yourself in relationships. Now, of course, it's that lust, it's that honeymoon stage, it's the obsession of somebody new, and it's amazing, great. But, you know, more so when you get in the relationships, like you falling off all your routines and you not taking care of yourself and you obsessing and you're wondering, and maybe you're overthinking and you're giving yourself too much, too soon, all of that kind of stuff. Why are you doing that? Well, usually, for one, it has to do with the fact that you have probably an unhealthy attachment style. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and diagnose you and tell you you have this attachment style or that. It's not really my place to say so, but most likely you have some sort of attachment style where you believe that if you let this person go in a way, if you create a distance, you don't trust that they're gonna come back. You don't know if they're gonna come back. You're worried, you're anxious. Maybe you have an anxious attachment style. Maybe you have low self-worth from different relationships that you've had in the past, or, you know, parental relationships that have created your first, you know, real type of experience in relationships. And, you know, maybe you feel like if you don't give your all, or if your attention's not fully on them and you're not giving yourself all at once, or, you know, maybe even sleeping with someone really quickly, you think that if you don't do that, then that person's gonna go away, or that you're not worthy, you need to show your value in some way. Or maybe you're in scarcity because that's how you've always been even outside of relationships, and you believe there's limited resources, there's limited time, there's limited X, Y, and Z. So you start to do things, you take action, quick action, not the right action, and it ends up just, it becomes too much. There's a lot of reasons why you are losing yourself in a relationship in the first place. And honestly, it has to do with survival at the end of the day. It has to do with a certain pattern that you have picked up and learned and continue to cycle through all of your life. So I think it's really important, before I give you even the practical tips here, is to learn your attachment style, to go back in childhood and see those first relationships that were, mirrored to you and the way that you were taught to have relationships, because it will really show you like why you do certain things, why you're in scarcity, why you're obsessing and overthinking and whatever, and to go back and to really work on these. Now, I think inner child healing work can really help, doing shadow work, journal prompt guiding things out, going to therapy, of course, reprogramming certain limiting beliefs that you've held about yourself in terms of your low self-worth. I have lots of resources that I'll link down below in terms of my own videos, of like resources, certain meditations that might help you. I also have a journal prompt guide, an inner child discovery journal prompt guide that could be helpful. But knowing this about yourself and really understanding the why behind things that you do is really going to help you. So when you do try to incorporate some practical tips, when you probably inevitably fall back into a certain way of thinking or a little pattern, you can quickly get yourself out of it, because you know that the thing that you're falling back into, it's a learned pattern. It's an old pattern, it's an old belief. I don't need to go there. So let's talk about how you can get out of this cycle. For one, you need a routine, girl. Like, you seriously need a routine, or guy. I know there's guys watching, but I always talk about my experience through the lens of being a woman and dating men. So the tips that I'm going to give here, I will be saying that, but you can change it up if you want to. I'm not trying to exclude people. It's just my own experience and what I have learned in the years of being in my relationships. In order for you to stop the obsession, stop the scarcity, stop the low self-worth, what is going to help you is to have a routine, going to sleep at the right times, going to the gym, taking care of yourself, having goals, having a plan each week, having a schedule of when you're going to do your certain work, when you are going to connect with friends, when you're going to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, for you to have a routine. Not only is you having a routine gonna get you your mind out of the obsession and the worrying, the wondering, the even the good stuff that happens in relationships. When you have a routine and you're showing up for yourself, you feel more confident, you trust yourself more, and your energy is different. And that's gonna help you when you have some low self-worth, thoughts that might come up in a relationship, when they inevitably do, or like somebody triggers you or whatever. And listen, I'm gonna tell you a little truth here. It is very attractive to a healthy man. I'm gonna say healthy man because some men don't like when you, take care of yourself, because whatever. But we're talking about healthy men here. It is so attractive, even outside of men, right? In general, it's so attractive to see somebody who is on their shit, who is on a routine, who takes care of themselves, who, cares about their wellness and their health, and, they're not obsessing and they're not worrying and they're not waiting and they're just going. And listen, when I mean have a routine, you don't need to be 100% perfect and rigid and, okay, well, I can't talk to you past 10 p.m. because whatever, but honestly, it is so important that majority of the time you still have some sort of routine. You need to take care of yourself. The next thing that you need to have is a social life. And I know it's hard when you are really into someone, when you're in a relationship and that person either, you're like super obsessed and in love with them, or that person is like your bestie, right? Like that person is really your person. That's great. You can so have that. But the truth is, your man cannot be everything for you. He can't be your therapist. He can't be your best friend. He can't be your lover. He can't be your protector. He can't be every single thing for you, nor, in my personal opinion, should he be. You have to stop looking at just one person to be able to hold this capacity of all your ranges of emotions and all the things that you go through in life, and been putting it on him. And honestly, again, coming back to this healthy man, a healthy, secure man will want you to have friends, not from a place of, oh, just go away, like I don't want to deal with you, but just He will understand the importance of you having girl time or other friend time, whatever friendships that you have, social life that you have, because that feeds into your soul. And also like that, when you come back and you connect with him, you have things to say. You've lived your life even outside of his. And there's just things that you don't need to always do with your man, and nor should you. I just feel like let's say you want to go get your nails on, you want to go shopping. Yeah, okay, you can do that with your man if you want to, but I mean, you got to think about that person as well. Are you guys exactly the same? Do you guys like every single absolute thing the same? Probably not. So why not have other interests and, come together and kind of talk about these things? We don't need to do absolutely every single thing together. It also doesn't mean you can't have friend groups that are the same. I think that's so fun and amazing. It's just the mere fact of you having a social network. Having a social network as a person in general honestly signals to a lot of people that you are safe, that you are healthy, that you are well fed in a way. Like if we're talking about a primitive level thing, when we, especially women, when we look at high value men, whatever, quotations, we don't just think, the ones who really get it, don't just think about money. We think about men who are well connected and have resources. It's safe. It's like a symbol of safety and status and whatever you want to say that it is, but it's a good thing to be connected. It's a good thing to, when something is going wrong in your life or you're struggling with something, that you have people that you can go to and that they can hold you and support you. It's just a healthy thing to have. And another truth is, when it comes to men, I do believe that if you have a social life and you go out and you do things and your whole intention and your time and your availability is not completely on him, you're gonna keep him wondering, you're gonna keep him guessing. A little bit of space in between that relationship is good. He's gonna be like, where's my girlie at today? Oh, she's going out? Okay, like, I'm gonna miss you. Like, don't you want him to miss you? Don't you want that, distance in a way, a little bit, right? A little bit. It's healthy. It's healthy. A secure, healthy attachment style. It incorporates some distance. One thing I forgot to mention, if you want to understand your attachment style better, get the book, The Power of Attachment. It is such a good book by Diane Poole. I'll have it linked down in my Amazon shop. Next thing, and I know a lot of you guys, you either don't do this or you don't think it's important, but that is to have a self-pleasure practice. Why is it that you are only allowing yourself to experience pleasure with a man? Now listen, we love men here, okay? No shade if any men are watching this and they're like, wow, what? No, whatever. But honestly, why is it that you only allow yourself to access such insane pleasure only with a man? That's not, I'm not gonna say that's not right, but you should absolutely allow yourself to do that. And one thing that I'm gonna say, like another little truth here, okay? Because, learning your body and what you like and don't like and exploring that on your own will help you show up better in an intimate relationship with a man, okay? You will learn to feel more confident. Now, you do learn a lot about your body and what you like and what you don't like with a man. Obviously, there's things that you just can't learn on your own, like about being with a man without a man, or whatever gender you want to talk about here. But it is true that you do show up a little bit better in relation to men when you have that relationship with yourself. Now, is this the only reason why I'm telling you to have a self-pleasure practice? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if you struggle with even giving yourself that part of, exploration, remind yourself that you will show up a lot better. Another thing that is going to be so important, like with incorporating what I've already said, is to have boundaries and communicate. You might have a partner that wants to do so much with you, right? Especially when it's a good, like amazing relationship. He wants to go here, he wants to go there, he's available, whatever. And you have to communicate with your partner what you can and what you can't do. There's been so many times where I've been in relationships where I just wanted to spend so much time with him and I didn't want to say no, but I was literally like dying inside because I was so tired because we had stayed up the night before, and I just didn't get proper sleep. And what I really needed to do was to go home, reset, have my wellness routine, and then go see him on the weekend. But because he wasn't feeling the same way and he was kind of ready to go, he was like, let's go, and I was, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want to, I was also in the scarcity. And I've learned over time in relationships to really communicate and be like, I really want to do this right now. Like, I love you, but I also really need to sleep for a moment. Or I've been really stressed this week at work and I wanted to do this beautiful date night and I know you really want to do it, but I'm just wondering, like, maybe we can tone it down and stay in tonight. You might not be able to do some things every single time that other person is wanting to do them. Same thing goes with the opposite, right? And it's to learn how to have loving, compassionate communication with this person instead of just being like completely pushing yourself aside, right? And then showing up half-assed because you're completely tired, and then getting kind of resentful and annoyed and triggered because you weren't actually taking care of yourself. But like, that person needs to hear it from you. You need to use your words and communicate and say, I can't show up right now, but it doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean that I don't want this relationship. Or, when you want to have a social life or you want to have more of your routines going for you and you need to bring your energy back a little bit, it's to use your words and communicate and be like, this doesn't mean that I don't want to spend time with you. And actually, I know that if I tone it back, I'm going to be able to show up better in this relationship with you. And that is something that's the most important thing. And when it comes to communicating as well, it's like you need to have open conversations about how much freedom you're looking for and how much freedom they're looking for. Or maybe your attachment styles, maybe not. You don't have to talk about attachment styles like that per se, but it's to really like be real and open and honest with how much time I need in order to be able to show up in this relationship or what I'm looking for. Maybe you're somebody who needs some more quality time than other people, and getting on the same page with your partner. Is your partner even somebody who is willing to do that or wants to do that? And I feel like a lot of relationship issues, they come from this not knowing yourself and what you need, and then on top of that, not communicating with that other person and being scared that if you say what you need, they're gonna go away. And I understand why you'd be afraid of that, but if that person really loves you and cares for you, they wouldn't walk away. And again, you have that scarcity because maybe somebody has in the past, but it's like you need to break these cycles. You're never going to get in a healthy relationship and have a relationship with yourself and be able to have it with someone else if you're not having these open conversations. And it's not going to be easy all the time. It's not going to be comfortable, but that's what you need to do for yourself, but also for that other person. Again, the more you are solid within yourself and you love yourself and you spend time really filling up your cup, you are going to be the best version of yourself for that other person. And you want to have that person really understand that. Just because you prioritize yourself doesn't mean that that person is going to leave you. And if they do, then that person wasn't for you anyways. And if you catch yourself obsessing, putting so much of your time and attention on this person, being so available, so X, Y, and Z, whether this person knows it or not, ask yourself in these moments, what is it that I am not giving to myself, to my inner child? What is it that I'm not pouring into myself right now? What is it that I need to tell myself that I'm not telling myself? Sometimes it's as simple as a few affirmations, telling yourself, if I prioritize my health and my wellness or my social life right now, this relationship is not going to fall apart. If I show up for myself, most likely I'll actually feel very confident and very much so in my self-worth, which will actually be more attracting. And one thing that I've found that has been helpful for me in relationships, because you know, there's always going to be these parts of you, these little bit of like some wounds or old attachment styles coming up. No relationship is perfect. You don't need to be. It's really good to, again, have communication with this person and let them know, like, you know, I do struggle sometimes with putting all of my attention and my focus to this one person, aka you, because I really want to be with you. I love you. I want to spend so much time with you. I'm excited to be around you. But also, I'm doing it because I'm afraid you're going to leave, or I struggle with some low self-worth, and I'm trying to work on that. And I just want you to know that I might have these feelings, and when they come up, I would like to be able to communicate with you. I would like to be able to tell you that, you know, when I'm stepping back, why I'm stepping back, and for you to know that and be on the same page. And again, if somebody is really loving you and like wants to be with you and wants to take things further, they're gonna understand that. And if you're in a relationship right now and you're realizing you haven't been prioritizing yourself and you want to start prioritizing yourself more, then I honestly think that that first step is having a conversation with your partner and being like, you know, I really want to start taking care of myself, and this is why. Why? Because I'm realizing that I'm not showing up the way I really want to for you and for myself. And again, that person should really understand that. And it's good to have this conversation, because if you start to like pull yourself back and be like, all right, you know, I watched a video where I need to prioritize myself more and I'm going to work on myself and whatever. You know, your partner is on the other side and they're used to you showing up one way. So they might be, you know, maybe they have some insecurities, or maybe they're not, like, they might not be used to that, or they have a certain attachment style. So I think it's important for you to, you know, take their feelings into consideration, because they're going to be witnessing you changing and evolving. And I think that's so beautiful. And one more thing I'll say that I think is really important, especially when you are starting to prioritize yourself more, getting more in touch with yourself, having that relationship with yourself, is to have some sort of practice that you're going to on a daily basis. So whether that be waking up in the morning and before you're even sending a text to your boyfriend that you probably love, or like somebody who you're really interested in, connect with yourself first. Sit down and have a journal practice, like 5 minutes, and just what you're grateful for, what you need to tell your inner child, the certain low self-worth beliefs that you're currently working through, or what you're excited for about the day. Something, connecting to yourself first before connecting to that other person. Again, it's this energy of rushing. It's this energy of, oh my gosh, if I don't text him right now, or if I'm not there available all the time, he's going to leave. Like, you have to realize just how much you think about and you're in that energy state every day. And when that happens, to pull yourself back and be like, okay, I don't have to send a text right now. I can finish what I'm doing. I can finish my journal practice. I can finish reading my book. I can tell him good night and then go read my book. I can go sit down and eat my food and then text him back, or then call him. Or, on the weekend, this weekend, my friends are going out and it's a girls' night. And, yes, I really wanted to hang out with him, but I also have been hanging out with him every single weekend, and I know how important it is going to be for me to go connect with my friends, and he's still gonna be there for me. Like, it's totally fine. I can do this. You have to start telling yourself these things, because what's naturally gonna happen when you go to text quickly, or I'm available whenever, or I can do this and I can do that, it's that inner child part of you that's taking control. And that inner part of you is not really convinced and can't see it fully that what this behavior is doing is not helpful for you anymore. And you constantly being available and constantly putting yourself last is actually hurting the relationship. So it's really important that you be there with yourself moment to moment, especially when you're trying to change a certain behavior, and witness yourself when you're texting, or like when you're rushing to do something, and tell yourself, I don't need to send a text. Let me do my 5-minute journal. He's going to be there as soon as I'm done, and everything is going to be okay. And again, what's really going to strengthen that trust and the feeling like you're not going to lose this relationship, you're not going to whatever, is to have a conversation and talk to your partner about this. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to learn more about how to have a healthier, deep connection with yourself, to be in a relationship with yourself, please go watch a video on the screen. I think it's so helpful. I go through more tips in that video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.